Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 132 of the Field of Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. We've been away for a while. Apologies. We will be definitely talking about Spider-Man towards the end of the show because we'll be talking some spoilers, of course, and we'll, warn you once that happens.
Yes.
But in the meantime, we're going to be talking some James Bond news, the Kingsman trailer.
Yes, I am all sorts of excited about
it. Trailer.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes news, Joker, the film, and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and Top Gun Maverick. So,
I tell you what, those two things that came out this week, I was just so excited about.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith stuff, I mean, it's like he didn't even lose a beat.
Yeah.
His stuff, except for maybe Shannon Elizabeth. It looks like she aged a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I was wondering how old she was,
Yeah.
Like I thought she might have been our age, but maybe she was a little older back then.
I think she was a little older, but
they would cast teenagers who are in her 20s already.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's had some Botox, I think. She still looks nice.
Oh, she still looks beautiful.
I mean,
but
if you think about it, it's been almost 20 years. So.
Yeah. She's a professional poker player now.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. She goes to Las Vegas and does Texas Hold'em tournaments.
Well, good for her. Yeah, because I never really see her in films anymore. I don't know when. Sadly, a lot of those American Pie actors, I don't know.
I think
they popped up here and there.
Yeah. But I think I want to say at one point she was dating Helmuth, one of the famous poker guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's kind of notorious as a vocal guy.
Sure.
Playing poker. So
no,
Phil Helmuth.
He's a dateless sheaf with the bloody eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little James Bond reference there for you. So
before we begin, though, how's your summer going?
Pretty good. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot here in Iowa, so not liking that too much, but it's going, Kids are out of school, so
nice.
I'm ready for them to go back. And, how about you?
Not bad. Went camping. I don't know if we've ever said that we're from... Yeah, I think we've said we're from Iowa. So anyway...
I try to.
Yeah.
Representation.
Yeah. So we went to Lake McBride, which is over by Iowa City last weekend, and got to go over and have some fun at a natural waterfall. And
nice.
Got to hang out there and spend some time camping. I forgot how much I love camping because it just takes you out of the whole electronic element, and then you're able just to... enjoy the sound of nothing.
Did you try to put your phone away?
A little bit.
It's hard.
It is, but, for the most part, we had friends over, so when you have friends, you just put your phone away anyway. And so I did that, and we brought a whole bunch of food and cooked on cast iron, which it has been a long time because, everybody's got nonstick now, so...
Sure. Yeah.
Had to relearn how to make it cast iron nonstick with a whole bunch of grease, and that's fun. And
just a big thing at Crisco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then seasoning the pan, you have to heat it up and put the Crisco on there and then let it cool off and it soaks in. So, yeah.
You ever see those videos of this one guy? He's out in nature and he uses I don't know what tool it is, but anyway, it's pretty aggressive looking, but he'll make a meal and it's just awesome to see him, and they speed it up too.
Oh, yeah.
Chopping.
Yes.
And then I love that stuff. Yeah.
He's making steak and
Makes
stuff.
it look so easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
On a fire.
Yeah. Just going all out.
That's what we did. So
nice.
On big stuff that we had a big one for, a big cast iron skillet, our friends brought a portable kind of stove kind of thing.
Sure.
But for the most part, we used the fire and just move the fire a little bit away and let it cook on there. And
nice.
Yeah.
I love elements of camping, but bugs annoy the shit out of me.
It's funny because it's been a long time since I've been camping, so the bugs aren't the problem anymore. What it is raccoons.
Really?
Yeah. No, we had to every night. We had to put the food into our cars in the trunk. Otherwise, the last night that we were there, the raccoons will keep you literally up because they'll be fighting and they'll make like really weird sounds and stuff. Now they won't get into the tents or anything, but they'll get into the food, and then you're just playing out of luck. But I don't remember when I was younger. I remember camping and never having a problem with raccoons. So I don't know if that's just a new issue or what.
Maybe just more observant, or because your parents took care of everything pretty much when you camped. So
well, I mean, even in the Boy Scouts though, I didn't
really?
notice it. But maybe we were staying in places that weren't really.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just the population's getting out of control.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe it's time to make Daniel Boone hats.
Yeah, but you might kill
or
Rocket.
Davy Crockett hats.
You don't want to kill Rocket.
Oh, there's enough of them out there.
Rocket Raccoon. There's
Rocky.
only one Rocket Raccoon. You just got to find them.
But didn't he pass away, the raccoon?
What, the
raccoon that they modeled Rocket after?
I don't know. Maybe. I think I heard something like that. I know a few pets have died that have been featured in cinema shows and stuff, but yeah, I'm sure they had a great life though, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
when you make it to stardom, I'm sure you get like a little soft bed to sleep on and premium food by a chef.
I mean, look at Triumph. He's still kicking.
Yeah.
know? Insult Comic Dog. Oh, he's awesome. From me to poop on.
Good old Robert Schmeigel.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's genius. Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. Thanks for listening to Field of Geeks podcast. I'd like to remind you to please check us out on all social media and most streaming and download platforms. fieldofgeeks.com. Back to the show. So, let's get into James Bond for our first topic here.
Yes.
News, I mean, this has kind of been a crazy production. You know, Craig's been injured. They've had director drop out. That was a while ago. Looks like now the new controversy, the outrage is because he's retired in this film, James Bond. He's retired. Craig's Bond is retired.
Okay.
Just like at the end of Spectre, he drove off into the sunset, sort of.
Yeah.
So there's a new 007 because they assigned that number to other people once the person retires. So
that makes sense.
Lashana Lynch is the new 007.
And she was in
Captain Marvel. She played her best friend.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with it.
Didn't realize she was English.
Man, English actors that really can hide their accent well.
Right.
You know, it's like,
and
wow.
I hate to say this, but sometimes if I hear that the actor or the actress is English, I'm almost half tempted to go a little bit more because of the quality of acting.
Yeah, because they like go to like Shakespearean.
Yeah, like they're
really dedicate them.
And not to say that we have bad actors or anything.
No.
I mean, we have Robert
ones.
Downey Jr. and we have a whole slew of people, but it's it just seems like a higher quality.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah. So, yeah, I can definitely see her as a cool spy, and a lot of people are just, I think they're concerned as at first, they didn't really read much into it. She's just got the 007 status. She's not Jane Bond or anything like that.
Yeah, and everybody was just like, oh my God, they've replaced Bond already, and this and this. And, it feels like either one of two things, like The Matrix. You remember how many problems they had filming 2 and 3? With like delays and stuff. And
and then the Oracle.
The Oracle passed away.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know. And, it's really tricky. Like, let's say my concern is going forward, if her character doesn't die, are they going to be tempted to just have her run the franchise after that? I don't really have a big problem as long as she's not, Jane Bond or whatever, which she's not going to be. But, I think the fundamentals of the character have to be intact. I like the new take, though, because it's just a code name. I don't like the idea that James Bond's the code name. I like the idea 007 is the code name.
And that's what they did with Craig, which I thought was smart. They said that basically the number is Bond, and James Bond is just an actual person. So instead of like the previous movies just saying, okay, your code name is James Bond, and you have the 007 tag, now they're saying that there's like a whole storyline to James Bond.
Yeah. They've always kind of been like, it's the same person, but they kind of ignore, like, you started with Connery and you got Lazenby and then you got Roger Moore. Oh, those guys were kind of in the same age range. Like you could see like chronologically from Dr. No to A View to a Kill, let's say, except, Moore got really old. So when they recasted Timothy Dalton, it was pretty much a reboot back then. And then Pierce Brosnan was able to. So Dalton and Brosnan they fit the new age timeline, if you will.
Why is it that like every time that they bring on a new Bond, that first movie is just spectacular?
I think there's just so much on the line.
Except for Lazenby, which only had one movie.
You should revisit it. It's good.
Is it?
It actually is a good Bond movie.
Okay.
It really is, I think. Lazenby's like a stuntman first, and he's a brawler in real life back then.
That guy was... they had at Amazon Prime, like, him becoming Bond. He was like a used car salesman. And
yeah, and he lied about...
Oh, yeah, he lied.
Actor.
Yeah.
So he definitely... His fight scenes are excellent. I think he did a good job, honestly. You could say he's a little wooden, but I didn't really pick up much on that. And he would have went on to be Bond, but he got into the hippie movement.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to shave his beard and long hair. And he didn't want to be like a uptight snob guy in a suit, like Bond is pretty much.
Well,
so
he did it his own way. I mean, kudos to that man.
So, but anyway, he did a great job, I thought.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I would put that on one of the top Bond films for
would
sure.
You?
Yeah, I would. On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Because I think for me, it would be Sean Connery, then Daniel Craig, then Pierce Brosnan. Now, I've never been a Roger Moore fan, and I hate to admit this partially because I haven't seen his movies. Mm-hmm. I know that a lot of people gush over how good he was, but I haven't seen his movies. So, and Timothy Dalton, I think, was good, but he was a very dark Bond, and that didn't track well with a lot of people.
Well, they were trying to get back to the actual character, like more like the Connery age. He smoked. He was more serious. Living Daylights is actually a good Bond film. That was his first film. Like you said, like most of the first films for these Bonds are the best ones. That is actually a really good film. It's really captures what Bond is, I think, and I think they did a pretty good job. His follow-up it was very dark, and it copied a lot out of the 80s action trope movies. It just wasn't a Bond film really. But Living Daylights, that's actually a good film. We've had a lot of great Bond films, and I, for one, want the character to continue. I don't have a problem with them kind of rebooting again. I loved Casino Royale.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of tired of this Craig run where it's not fun anymore. It's dark
almost...
and serious, and it's just like... I just want him to be James Bond and go out and have fun, drive some cool cars.
I was just hoping for one last good run.
Yeah, and not to say this isn't going to be, but he's retired, right? Yeah. So it's like they're going to have to reboot because then you would have to accept Craig's run, if you will, because, you go from Casino Royale, which was excellent, Quantum of Solace. I like that one. It's probably not as good, but then by the time he gets to his third Bond film, they say it in the film like he's a dinosaur, and it's like, no, he's not. He just started. Casino Royale was his first outing.
When he started Bond, though, he was what, in his 40s?
Yeah, like age-wise.
So age-wise,
I get it.
Maybe they were making a crack at that. But
if the whole take was, this is a new Bond, he just got his 007 status,
right.
And we haven't really had many years with this Bond, and then already say... You're old, out of touch. Old dog, new tricks cannot happen. I just think they kind of put themselves in a corner, if you will.
Yeah, and I'm, the one thing that we're going to get that really kind of excites me a little bit is just the fact that we're going to get a true Bond retirement, because it seems like whenever they cast a new Bond, it's just, they never explain what happened to the old one.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think it ever has been that way. It's just been they just never address it. Like they keep. I think the ideal age for Bond is, 30s, 40s. And then once the actor ages out of that, then they go back to a 30s, 40s. So it's like, to me, like, I think that's how they should approach it with Indiana Jones. Like, keep the adventures going, recast the actor to be more of a 30, 40 range. Just keep going with the adventures. You don't ever have to, I think an Elseworlds tale, like to see Bond retire or Craig may die, because that was a rumor why Danny Boyle left the project, because Craig wanted to kill him off, and it makes sense if he's retired. If he's retired and there's a new 007.
Guy's a new Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just kill me off.
So my concern, I don't really have a big concern of Lashana Lynch being the new 007. I think that's really cool.
If there was a point for it so that it added to the storyline, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Don't push something just because it's a topic point in entertainment now.
Right.
Totally get it. I do think that everybody needs a fair shot.
Which is, it's just a funny slippery slope. It might be due to how much passion you have for a certain character.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Elementary on CBS, Sherlock Holmes show. Dr. Watson is played by Lucy Liu, so it's a female version.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know why I have a bigger issue with James Bond being a woman. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, I think James Bond was created back in a day when it was a suave kind of thing. It was a gentleman's game, and so that's the kind of storyline that we all expect. Now, if it's a lady and she's seducing dudes, I mean, okay.
And that's fine. But my only thing is, why?
They already did that. Yeah.
Why do you need a man's part to make your part important? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not make your own spy?
Yeah.
Like this 007 in this film, if she does survive, she has her own name, they could spin her off like they were going to do years ago with GEEKS. Like, I think that's more interesting.
Right.
You're building a bigger audience that way rather than saying, oh, in order for us to get attention, we got to take this male part.
Yeah.
And run with it. And it's like, that's really going against what you're trying to do, you know?
It's like when Marvel was talking about making a female Iron Man and all that stuff. I'm like, if it happened in the comic books, fine. Go for it.
It has with Riri Williams, but she wasn't Tony Stark.
Right.
You know?
Right.
She was her own character. And I think that's more interesting because I'm all for equality. Don't get me wrong. But I think people need to think like, okay, it's a slippery slope. So if people are for a female James Bond, okay, does that also open up routes for a female Mary Poppins or a male Mary Poppins? You know what I'm saying? Like
Alfred comes in with a
yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying is like, you know, if we're going to change all these characters, it's just a slippery slope. And I think it's just because I have more passion towards Bond. I love Sherlock Holmes. I don't really have a problem with the Dr. Watson change. I mean, look at Felix Leiter, for instance, in the Craig films. You know, he
God, I love that character.
Jeffrey Wright plays him well.
God, he plays him just so perfectly.
But I think it's okay. I think it's more acceptable to have him play it because that character hasn't really been established much in the films.
He's always just been kind of a counter agent for the U.S. and just kind of interjects himself when he needs to.
Yeah.
The thing about Jeffrey Wright is he's so smooth.
Yeah.
And he comes around and he's just, you know, he says who he is. He says what you know, he's very, in his own right, debonair.
Right. And, of course, you know, you had the Josh Trank Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Michael, oh my gosh, his name escapes me. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I was going to say Michael Jordan. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Michael B. Jordan.
B.
Which I was okay with that casting for Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Which it changed things because Sue was adopted.
The storyline, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, though. If we're going to... I don't mind a black Bond or anything like that. But I'm saying, like, you got to look at the fundamentals of the character. He's, like, Scottish, German descent. So would he... If you change him to a black character, would he be adopted? You know what I mean?
Maybe that's why they're changing it up a little bit. They're saying that the 007 is what makes...
Right, and if that's how they want to move forward and just have it be a 007 franchise...
Which is smart.
I'm all right with that, I guess.
Because then you can basically tag anybody you want and then change their name.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, but they can take on a persona.
Right.
Or they have to match a certain persona for this 007 status. Now, 006 could be a certain different type of persona, and that would play well with you know...
I mean, it's just like saying, when I say fundamentals,
Yeah.
take Shaft, for instance, okay? The fundamentals. He's a black guy from a bad part of town, let's say, kicking some ass, right?
Yeah.
If we did that, recast it as a white dude in the suburbs named Shaft, that would just be stupid, you know?
Right. Here he is in West Des Moines.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Going to West Des Moines Target.
Exactly.
Oh my God, it's Shaft.
It's like...
Can you dig it?
But it's weird, though, because some characters I'm okay with, like I said, with them changing it up. Felix Leiter's, Jeffrey Wright, I could care less.
And they've never really...
I don't know why. I don't know. I don't have any bias towards any other races. It's just, I think when it comes to Bond, because he's the center of attention, to change that up, you know, and I could see a black Bond. I could see that. They'd have to adjust it, though. And to be fair... They have adjusted in the past because you've had Sean Connery was Scottish. Well, Bond in the books was not Scottish. So they changed that to kind of reflect that actor at the time. So, you know, I don't know. I guess overall, just make it a good film and make it, don't preach so much. You know, like, for instance, back in GoldenEye, Brosnan's first film, Judi Dench was the first female M.
Yeah, and it wasn't supposed to be.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, right?
But they weren't, like, heavily pushing, like, she's a woman. She can do all this stuff. I mean, she held her own. She had balls, and she took
Judi
Bond to
Dench
task.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's and nicknaming her mom. And the M moniker.
Yeah.
That was just cool. I mean, Judi Dench took that character. I can't, honestly, because I've really caught on to Bond basically when Brosnan got in there. To me, Judi Dench has always been just M. So if I were to watch the earlier ones with M, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't, And
M's a moniker. Yeah. M is a continuation. Bond really isn't like the 007, yes, is, but James Bond is James Bond. So, like, M, everyone takes that title. So, just like if they were 007, that's their title now, not James Bond. So, I'm totally on board with that. I just think if you start changing a lot of the fundamentals of a character, you might as well just make a new character at that point.
Right. And I'm not saying that you can't do a female Bond, but, I mean, look at the show Scandal. That was a strong show, a lot of following. The lead of that show was Kerry Washington.
Yes.
Very, very well done.
Right.
And she held her own. I mean, that was a very controversial show because it was just like, oh my gosh, it's a woman, number one, and then it's a black woman. Great. She did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
There's that stigma that goes around where it's just like, no, if you can act, do it.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's because Bond's so established the way he is.
Yeah.
To change anything would be, just as a fan, I wouldn't like it. So I think maybe that's the answer. Like, Dr. Watson, to my knowledge, hasn't really been developed big time. So it's okay to kind of like adjust it a little bit, make it more interesting. Felix Leiter, for instance, he's never had like a solo film or anything like that. So adjusting it that way, but I think because Bond's the center of attention, just it's set that way. But the 007 thing is separate. So I'm okay with that. I'm just concerned moving forward. Are they going to feel pressure to, like, all right, we need to go with her, which is fine, but I don't, if they're going to do another James Bond film, I want it to be casted accordingly.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't care if it's a black guy at all. I don't care. Idris Elba would be great, but
God,
the only problem
amazing.
is he's like Craig's age or older. And it's like, he's not going to, unless you do like 2-3 films back to back.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's okay. I think they could adjust that. But I think when it comes to changing the sex, that's the big issue for me is like, you might as well just create a new character if you're going to go that far.
Or create a whole different movie.
Right. And, I'm naive when it comes to overseas. Like, there probably is black people who we all have stuff in our gene pool. So it's not really a big stretch to recast him that way, I don't think. But it's just funny how certain characters... I'm cool with like, that's really refreshing. Cast that race as that or gender, but then when it comes to other characters, like, no, don't do that.
Right.
Like, and it's not like I don't think it's racist at all. It's just I think I love the character so much. It's like, if you were on the other side and you had a character that represented your culture or the way you look, let's say, and you would change that, like I think it wouldn't be accepted at all. Yeah.
And there's a lot of strong female actresses out there now.
Yeah, and I think Lashana Lynch is a great actress.
And who else would be good? Is that lady, and maybe I'm just biased right now because I've been watching the hell out of Black Mirror. But the one lady that was in Ant-Man and the Wasp that played the villain, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen? Well,
I've seen her in Ready Player One.
Okay,
and, she's
she
a good actress.
is amazing. And would do wonders as a villain or as anything. I mean, if given the right script,
that's what I would do if I was in charge of the Bond franchise.
Yeah,
and people. And it's okay for everyone to want their own James Bond. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a way everyone can get what they want in a way is to spin off, like have other 00 agents. And those agents can be representations of all races, and genders. Yeah. And I think that's a way to please everybody. And it also makes them their own characters. And there's so much you could do with them more than just, they got to be Jane Bond or...
Could make an interesting storyline that James Bond, Daniel Craig's James Bond had a kid, unbeknownst to him.
I mean, we've had James Bond Jr. cartoon. I mean, they could always do that. See, I think that's what they need to do with these films. Make them good films, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But you could totally expand this franchise. It doesn't just have to be Craig. And
go deep into the mythos.
Maybe that's what they're going to do because Craig is kind of like... set a new standard for Bond anyway about there's like an end to Bond,
which is weird because we've never gotten that. It's just been like, that Bond or that character, that actor's done. Now we're gonna put a new guy in.
But see, I don't really, those characters to me, I don't want them to end. You know what I mean? Like I always want them to have an adventure and go on it. It is fascinating to see their end. Like an Old Man Logan is cool.
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen eventually.
Right.
But there's all this time where we can have more adventures. And that takes you out of your dark places when you see a movie, you know, that this is always going to happen. It's always going to be this way. Once you put a lot of reality into it, it can be good and like award winning, but it can also like make you not have fun. Like I said, these films need to have fun again.
Yeah.
And not be like just
over the top like Pierce Brosnan's last 3 movies.
Yeah, like they got to balance. And if you look at the whole history of these Bond films, their balance has been way off. You know, they've corrected, they've overcorrected.
Well, they self-corrected after 9/11.
Yeah,
because they were going to have another Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
and with the way that the world was at the time. Yeah. And, you know, now we can look back and say, yeah, that makes sense. And maybe a few years down the road, we'll say, yeah, this all makes sense now.
Yeah. And it went crazy with Moonraker, you know.
Right.
More went into space, and then that's because of the whole Star Wars thing. Yeah. Then the next movie, they grounded the hell out of it, and they even restricted the gadgets, you know.
Isn't it funny that like, Bond kind of follows along the timeline that Kiss does? So, like, every time an album comes out that does, like, successful, like, just huge, then Kiss goes and makes their own version of it. So like The Wall came out, and then Kiss came out with something that was like The Wall, and then they did a live, and that went, you know, Peter Frampton and all that stuff. So it's funny how Bond kind of follows along with Kiss's rule of what's cool.
Overall, with this casting, like my issue is just if they actually make James Bond, they change it drastically. Yeah, but you know, I'm venting. You know, I don't have all the answers, and I think conversation is key with all these things. I think everyone has these thoughts, and they're all afraid to say stuff, you know, and because people will just explode at you on the internet.
The problem is nowadays is that information is so easy to get that back in the 90s and back in the 80s, you got a screen poster of a movie coming out. Based on that screen poster, you were either excited for the movie, and maybe you got one promo, right? And that was on TV if you were lucky, or in a movie theater. And then after that, zero. There was no internet fad, no, oh, we got screenshots from this scene or something like that. Yeah. And so basically, you went in with a fresh mind, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the huge problem right now.
Well, because everyone has a voice, which is great, especially for us.
Right.
But the only problem is you have people stirring the pot to get certain emotions out of people.
Right.
Let's say, like, for instance, Phoebe Waller-Bridge supposedly was brought on to tweak the screenplay for this new Bond film. She voiced the woke droid in Solo, if you will. You know, the one that, like, was freeing everybody. See,
I still have not seen Solo. I need to see that.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. She's known for Fleabag, which is on Amazon. It's a series. I think it just ended, possibly. Yeah. But the rumor is she may have made this new 007 a female, which, like, again, I'm fine with. Okay, as long as it's not Jane Bond. That's just stupid. But the other rumor is, and this is where I get kind of pissy, and I hope this isn't true, but supposedly they don't want to call Bond girls that anymore. They want to call them Bond women, and which I'm like, okay. I don't think, when I think of Bond girls, I don't think of, in the past, of course, it degraded women. And you could say these later films, some of that happens. Yeah. But there's also some great Bond girls. Yeah. And I just think that's silly, you know.
I still want Rachel Weisz as this Bond girl, but that's just a biased opinion of mine.
This is supposed to be fun, okay? And it's like, don't overcorrect shit. It's just silly, you know. I don't look at it as degrading women. You know, some of those characters, of course, their names are ridiculous, but it's like, this franchise is supposed to be fun, you know? And I guess you could say girls are sexist, but I mean, we're going to dissect everything we say, and the anxiety is just going to go over the top, you know? It already is, because it's like, just like talking like about all this. Yeah. It's like, this could be great, this could be bad, could be all, I don't know. But hey, maybe we'll get some comments, you know?
Yeah, let us not call them flight attendants anymore and call them sexy stews.
That'll go over well. Jesus. I'm gonna just leave the plane right now. So like I said, I don't mind this change to 007. That's fine. Just the whole casting, reimaging. It's fascinating. It really is.
Ralph Fiennes will be in it. We have the same cue. I've heard that one of the villains is coming back.
Christoph Waltz may be returning as Blofeld. Rami Malek, who won an Oscar for portraying
I always worry about that.
Well, Christoph Waltz, it's like you win the Oscar, you become
a Bond villain.
Yeah, or you're in a Bond movie.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, though. Rami Malek really stuck to his guns, and he wouldn't commit to this villain role unless they, given his Egyptian descent.
I
think he's got some Egyptian.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
But he didn't want any religious motives for this villain. And that's refreshing. Because
that is refreshing.
They overdid the shit out of that. It's like, give us something new and intriguing.
Yeah.
His character, I think, wears a mask, that's awesome.
Ooh.
It's always cool,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mystery around all that. And
now there's an actor that's still not known enough. I mean, he did a great job in Queen.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an actor that's a true guy. He sticks to his guns.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a good old guy.
He's in Mr. Robot, which I haven't seen, but
I've heard great things. Yeah. I bet Joey would know a lot about that.
I think they're ending that show, too. So
Are they?
It's like 3 seasons. But I think it's like for the best. It's like they're probably out of ideas and they want to just...
Well, not only that, but he's like taking off like a skyrocket.
And hey, I hope more comes his way for sure. So the other thing that's cool is I've seen some footage of Craig driving around set, and what he's driving is the Aston Martin V8, which is what Dalton drove in The Living Daylights, and it's actually a really cool Aston Martin.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a Mustang.
Oh,
you got to see it. It's really sharp.
It's the Aston Martin, what is it?
V8.
Okay, hold on one second.
It's good. It's actually one of my favorites, because, we get a lot of the DB5s, which I like those too, but it's nice to just change it up a little bit. A little homage to the Dalton era, which was just in one film. It wasn't in his other ones.
Is it the V8 Vantage?
Yes, I think that's what it is. The front end looks like a Mustang, like a 60s Mustang kind of, if you look at it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. It's sharp.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a 60s style Mustang in the front. It's got fog lamps in the grill.
Yeah.
Boy, that's sharp.
Yep.
Whew.
I know, man. I'm excited.
I wonder what something like that goes for. Oh, well.
No.
$385,000.
Hey, get 2.
But it looks like it's in pristine condition, so...
Yeah, I don't know if it's probably not the exact one Dalton drove, but it's the same model.
Maybe I'll get to Backyard Beauty and then, restore it, so...
There you go.
It's probably still $100,000.
Yeah, probably. Probably. But yeah, I thought that was really cool to see. Like, I'm excited about this Bond film, but again, I just want to have fun. Spectre was just so serious. I'm just kind of tired of everything being linked to Bond. Bond was, a secret agent, and I don't think he should flash his name around too much. Like,
he had an aura of mystery.
He should have aliases, And just have fun again. Have fun with the whole Spectre thing. And Blofeld doesn't need to be related to him. That's just stupid. You know? It's like, why can't he just be look at the old films. He was just this villain who headed Spectre, and you didn't ever see his face until he only lived twice, I believe. Yeah. Donald Pleasance played him. So, and he's also in Her Majesty's Secret Service. Bond 25 will be released April 8th, 2020 so far.
So that means that he's now in the same line of the amount of movies that Roger Moore played in, right? Or has he surpassed the amount of Roger Moore movies?
Oh, gosh. See, Roger Moore was Live and Let Die, Man with a Golden Gun, Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and A View to a Kill. So that's 7 films. So Craig hasn't...
Okay.
I don't think anyone's hit 7 yet.
Yeah.
Besides, Moore just stuck it out. But, the thing with Moore, I think he wanted to leave many times. And they almost casted James Brolin as Bond. There's a screen test on one of the DVDs. It's funny, because it would have been an American playing. Yeah. I don't think he was going to do a British accent at all.
Really?
I mean, this was back when they just didn't ground it so much. Like, it could be anybody, Like, I guess they are now. Like, I think Burt Reynolds was asked one time. That'd be funny.
Would the contract have him keep his mustache, or would he shave it off?
Probably, because he's well known for it, but who knows? But, speaking of spies, of course, this came out of nowhere. I didn't even know they were filming this, but The King's Man which is a prequel to the Kingsman.
I am so much about this trilogy, it's not even funny. And after this one, they're going to go back and bring back the original cast for a new and
they're going to
round
do
out
one more, I think.
But I've heard that after they round that one out, there's going to be a new trilogy.
Okay, like a prequel trilogy, maybe?
No.
Okay.
No, so this one's
New
kinda,
Agents, yeah.
New Agent.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
possibly New Agents. I mean, you still have the Statesman and all that stuff, but from my understanding, this one's going to be more about like how the Kingsman came about, and it's going to be based around and centered around World War II. And so you have Ralph Fiennes, you have, I'm not sure who the kid is that's coming into the
You're talking about the King's Man?
Yeah, the King's Man.
After, yeah. Well, it looked like World War II, but it's actually World War I.
Oh, it is?
It's set in 1914 to 1916, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So that's great, though. We see so many World War II themed movies. Like Wonder Woman changed it up with World War I.
Yeah.
Let's just give people the first war.
And boy, there's a lot of good stuff coming out about World War I right now.
Yeah, and it's just like another era to explore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
So you're not going to have all the electronic gadgets, so it doesn't have to be over the top. It just has to be the dirty, gritty spy movie that with action and humor.
Right, and it's actually probably harder to pull off because of what's been set up so far.
Yeah.
Just to see the origins, but this looks definitely more serious, more cinematic. It's world building, so that's great. Yeah, it looks really good. There's a scene where I don't know who's got a shield, but he gets rocketed through a wall. With the shield.
God, that looks amazing.
Yeah, and Matthew Vaughn is back. He wrote and directed this, so he's staying put with the Kingsman so far.
I'm just so glad.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really cool. Like the Kingsman is so different from the original source material from the comics.
Oh, is it?
It's funny. If you go watch the first Kingsman, it's one of the special features. Mark Hamill himself is actually in the comic.
Really?
Right. Not the movie. He is in the movie, but he's not playing himself. He's playing that professor guy.
Yeah.
So it's a little difference there, and the look's totally different. I don't think they had all the suits and stuff, but yeah, it's really cool how he's like run with it. And it's probably something he wanted to do with X-Men, but didn't get the chance. You know, This is actually some new stuff to explore. So yeah, we'll get Kingsman 3 for sure, and I think Statesman, which I'm down with that. I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, they got to be careful with that one because I don't know. It was good, but I don't know if it deserves its own movie. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, maybe it'll be a prequel film.
I liked the guy who was in The Golden Circle, who did most of the majority from The Statesman. The guy
Pedro Pascal.
Yes,
who's playing the Mandalorian. Like good things are coming his way. He's going to be that main character for Jon Favreau's Star Wars television series.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he's the Mandalorian. Mandalorian.
Oh.
He wears the mask like most of the time. So, dude, I've only seen like leaked footage on that.
Yeah.
It looks so good, and they're already doing a season 2. It's the most expensive show made.
Yeah.
Because it's like cinematic. Like,
sure.
You could throw this up on the big screen. It's so badass. It's like a Western kind of.
And this is going to be on the Disney
Plus
streaming. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, have we heard anything if that's going to be tied into Hulu because Disney bought out Hulu?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet on that.
Because I had always heard
I haven't done the research.
If you had Hulu Plus, then Disney was, I believe, was going to be tied into that. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Hulu might be for its more darker properties, I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
Shoot.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is cool. This film came out of nowhere. I didn't even think they were filming it. Ray Fiennes, yeah, he's in it. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's
he's in Kick-Ass.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, and he was Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this film looks pretty good. It's due out February 14th, 2020. So, yeah, I hope it's successful because, you know, if it's not, I don't know. Hopefully we'll still get Kingsman 3 and all that. I like the second Kingsman. It just, I don't know. I like the first one so much more. It just was more grounded. The second one was just like, second one was a typical sequel. Up everything, you know. And the Statesmen were so American, you know. He's Pedro Pascal's character's flying a freaking F-14 at the end.
Right.
It's just silly, you know. But I did like some of their tech, and I still want to see if I can get one of those whiskey bottles that actually has a Statesman stamp on it.
Well, if you got the special edition of the Golden Circle, it came with 2 rock cubes that you put into your bourbon.
Yeah. But they actually have the bottles, which I think...
Oh, really?
That'd be just something cool to put on a shelf.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, they actually went really into all that whiskey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited. Sherlock Holmes, a lot of development here. First off, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, they're coming back to make a third film to their, well, it will be now a trilogy. Yes, they are officially working on it now. Their schedules kind of caused them not to...
given...
Yeah.
Right. Not like Marvel came along and screwed it all up for us.
So yeah, killing Tony Stark was a great thing. We get Sherlock now.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, Downey was like, I could do several of these films. It sounds like this may be the last for them. Maybe given... It might be just be given their age, and who knows? If it's super successful and Downey and Law are free still, they'll probably do more. But
I just love the stop action photography. Like when he would go through and like explain his punches and how he'd, stop a bad guy, and then he'd actually do it like full speed. Mm-hmm. That was so cool and cutting edge at that time.
Well, here's the thing that usually sucks with a third film. You lose the director, and that's what's happened with this one. Guy Ritchie is not directing it. It's going to be Dexter Fletcher, who just did Rocket Man, which I have not seen.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to mimic what Ritchie did. Ritchie's got a really cool taste, I think, and not just the stop motion stuff, but just the whole fight choreography, way people dress. Like he's really in all of his, departments when he makes a film, it seems,
And who was the bad guy in the second one?
It was the bad guy.
Moriarty?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jared Harris could come back because I think...
Now there's a guy that's a great actor, and he was in Chernobyl.
Yes.
God, I love that actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Whew.
Yes, he's very good. I could see them bringing him back because, in the books, they actually did supposedly die falling into a waterfall like they did in the last film.
That whole talking part, though, where they're like fighting, and then he's
with
like...
their minds?
Yes. And then he's like, nope, I already know what you're doing. Here's a counterpunch.
Yeah.
It was just...
Oh, the whole chess scene was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really... Which sucked. It's like, I like this film. We had to wait so long. It's been 8 years,
You're kidding.
Well, by the time this film comes out, which is slated for December 22nd, 2021. So it's going to be a little bit.
Oof.
Yeah. But, I'm nervous about... I don't even know if Ritchie has anything to do with it. Like, if he's even producing it.
Well, who wrote the stories? It wasn't Ritchie, was it?
No.
Okay.
But, he gave the visual...
Well, I think you have to put the visual back in there in order for it to work.
I hope it won't be bland without his direction,
I don't think it will be. I mean, you have extremely strong actors in that, and they've already done 2 films, so that's under their belt. Now they've had some downtime. Now that, they're done with all that, they can start to get back into that thought process and mode. And Robert Downey Jr. isn't a guy that's going to produce a bad film or be in
Well, and to be fair, I haven't seen Rocket Man, so maybe his direction is very similar to Ritchie's. I have no idea.
I've heard that there were some issues with that whole film because they didn't want to add the aspect of, just like in Queen, Freddie Mercury was gay, and they... the studio had a lot of problems with trying to portray that. They were touchy in on it. And the same thing with Elton John. I mean, here's a guy who delved into drugs hardcore, and that's a very touchy subject. So,
sure. Because they want people to have fun.
Right. And I think in order to appreciate what Elton John has done and what he did, you have to dive into those things. Sure. And you have to be willing to go... dark in some places, because I mean, drugs, and he got himself out of a hole, and my God, the music.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how this. I mean, I'm down for the film either way. It's something I wanted to see for a very long time. So hopefully it's good. I mean, I don't expect them to make more after this, but if they do, great. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So you have Robert Downey Jr. and then who's Watson again?
Jude Law.
Jude Law, that's right. Yeah, and then you have to definitely bring back Jude Law's wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, given the time, because it's a time jump.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the books she passed. So
what?
Who knows?
You're kidding.
Yeah, but of course in the books, or at least the Watson I knew growing up, he was an older man.
Yeah.
Much older man. Which Law is probably in his 50s.
Yeah.
So, today's older, is young, kind of considered. I liked her as an actress or as a character. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't care. Bring them all back. It's fine. Minecraft, bring him back. Mm-hmm. Love him. He's great. And speaking of siblings, Enola Holmes is going to get her own film, she's a sister of Sherlock Holmes. Okay. This is totally separate from the Downey Law films. Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11 on Stranger Things, she's going to be playing Enola. And it's based off a series of books by Nancy Springer, the Enola Holmes Mysteries. Enola, Sherlock, and Minecraft in these books, I believe. Okay. In this film, at least, that's what they're going to have. Helena Bonham Carter will play her mother. I'm not sure if she's like a half sibling to Mycroft and Sherlock. Just given how they phrase, she's playing her mother, not the other people's mother. So, interesting new casting to this film. Henry Cavill will play Sherlock Holmes. So, Superman will be Sherlock Holmes. And like I said before,
I want Henry Cavill to play Bond.
Yeah, but I think the problem is he did The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and it's so similar. But that film is so good too. The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I still haven't seen that.
You've got to see that. You'll love it. It's so good. So good. And it was a film adaptation of a show that was on during that whole 60s spy thing that Bond started. So it's, I'm okay with him. But I think the problem is when you have a big actor play Bond, you're going around their schedule. Yeah. They're going to age. You're going to have a writer's strike here and there probably. It's going to screw up everything. It's like, that's the good thing about...
Let's just assume a writer's strike's going to happen.
That's what happened with Quantum.
I know.
Craig even wrote some of it because he had to. They had to finish the film. Yeah, yeah. Which I still like Quantum. I think it's...
Quantum's good.
I like Quantum. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah, this is cool. I'm all down for this Enola Holmes. See, this is... Going back to Bond, this is a new character expanding the universe. Like, that's better, I think, than we got to make... him or her this, it's like, no, just deviate from that. It's a long lost sibling, it's a relative, it's a friend. I mean, it's just be more creative, I'm saying, make it flow, not so preachy and all this shit. But I haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, but I assume Millie Bobby Brown did a great job in that film. I think she's a good actress for sure. Knocking it out of the park with her portrayal of 11 on all the Stranger Things seasons. Very good. So I'm down for this film as well. It's cool to have a new take on the character. And maybe it'll be more of a family film. I can take my kids to. That'd be cool. Introduce them to Sherlock that way. Yeah. And they'll like Enola Holmes maybe more, Sure. And that's okay. That's fine. Representation's great. Just, like I said, I just have a problem if it's like you're changing something that's been established, for so long. But, it's just a weird... thing to talk about. It's just something I don't think is addressed too much. I don't know why it's weird to reimagine
It's a touchy subject, and
it is touchy, and I don't have all the answers, but it's like all I have is my own perception, I guess. And
we're in that age group now where we're kind of the last of those types of thinkers. Yeah. So to us, it seems like you're moving our cheese, but to everybody else, they're just like, no, whatever, man.
Possibly. Yeah. I just want the character to remain what made them that character and what made people love that character.
Well, and I think we've seen so many duds where they've tried that. Yeah. I.e. Ghostbusters. I want it to be
more organic, not so preachy. I think we're getting a lot of that now. Not to say I'm not dismissing a lot of that. I think a lot of that's good stuff. Mm-hmm. I just think some people go a little overboard. It's like we need to calm down and remember this is entertainment. Mm-hmm. We want to bring people out of their depression. Yeah. Make them happy. Yes. Make the material good so it can stand the test of time. Yep. And make a lot of money.
Money is the key.
Money. Yeah. Yes. Moving on to Joker. Yes. So big thing broke, which I'm not totally shocked by. This story for the Joaquin Phoenix film, not in the comics. This is a whole brand new story.
And I'm okay with that. It seems like we've started to just, this movie is based off of this comic book and this comic book. Let's get some people in there and do a twist on it, because that's what happens when new comic books come out. I think the storyline, I think the whole premise, what's interesting to me is that he didn't fall in a vat. The world around him created him. you know?
Yeah.
And that to me seems almost scarier than just being in a vat and being an evil guy anyway.
He's probably trying to fit into that world, which it looks like when he's being the clown, trying to make people happy.
He's a circle trying to fit into a square peg.
So he's like, fine, you're going to treat me like shit?
Yep.
I'm going to treat you like shit.
Yeah.
And do it my own way.
Yeah, and it's going to be 10 times worse.
Humor.
Yeah.
With my own
I'm going to kill you with
dark
kindness.
humor.
Yeah.
So yeah, Arthur Fleck, there was a rumor I heard. And given that, I'm okay with Elseworld Tales, I guess, you know. Again, this all relates to what we started talking about. You know, Elseworld Tales are changing things up, giving Joker a name, Arthur Fleck.
The whole thought process that that Bruce Wayne's dad had an affair with his help or something like that.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That's the rumor I've heard, that they're brothers, which would be not... I don't hate that idea too much. I don't know. It's just... I think overall what I want to see is continuity. Mm-hmm. And I think when you start doing these things, it's like, are we accepting this as continuity now? Or are we going to have it just be a side movie, which it is going to be, they said. It's going to be its own thing. So that means they can explore. Well, that doesn't mean it'll be limited to one film. They could probably do a follow-up film to it.
I think at least he needs to see Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, shit. If this film is its own thing, Thomas Wayne could be Batman. You know, which would be stupid, but I only like Thomas Wayne as Batman when it's Flashpoint, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like the opposite of what happened. I mean, hell, Joker could kill Bruce at the end of this film. I mean, it's all kinds of shit that can
And
go
if
down.
that's the case, that would lead into Flashpoint.
Given this film's narrative, I think I could see it pissing off Thomas Wayne enough that he becomes Batman, a ruthless Batman, and goes after the Joker and possibly kills the Joker. That'd be crazy. But
that actually what was it? There was an offshoot comic where Superman kills the Joker.
It was Injustice.
Yeah.
Because Joker, what did he do? He gave Superman a potion or something, and it disguised Lois as somebody else.
Yeah.
And he like flew her to outer space. And
oops.
Then when she died, he was like, "Oh, Lois, shit, no, I'm not gonna get laid again." No. Yeah, I don't really hate it. I don't know. All this is very weird. I guess as I get older, I don't know what the hell I want. I can't pinpoint exactly my feelings. You know, it's intriguing to explore these other aspects. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll see this film. I'm sure it's gonna be great, but I don't think it's something. I wouldn't expect any follow-up films, just given it's Joaquin Phoenix. I don't see him committing to a franchise. You know, I think he just wants to be one and done. You know, that's why I never thought he was going to be Doctor Strange. I just never saw him in that MCU universe. You know, he's just such a thespian and kind of a weird dude. You know, but that's what makes him great, I guess. You know,
maybe if it does well, maybe
who knows? Yeah. We're going to get the Joker film October 4th this year, so
good.
I'm sure we'll get another trailer before then.
I would hope so.
I could see it doing pretty well. I could. If it makes a ton of money, knowing WB, they might just change up everything again. So
yeah, that's the one thing that'll be really funny is if this one does
They're just
well.
so reactionary. It's just annoying. You know, it's like, just like after, they've been this way for years, though. Like after Dark Knight came out and it was successful, I remember reading back then they wanted to make Superman like that. And I'm like, Superman's not supposed to be dark. And they kind of did that.
Well, and that's why they brought in Christopher Nolan. And
yeah, I mean, he consulted on Man of Steel, and Man of Steel was darker, but it was a good film. I really liked Man of Steel. And I had a few issues with some of the parts, but overall, he was getting there. But Justice League just totally rushed it, you know? Like, like, oh, I'm Superman. He's all happy and shit. And
right.
Maybe because he just came back to life. I don't know. Never happened to me, so I can't really say. But yeah, speaking of Joker, John Carpenter, you know, the great filmmaker, it's given us a lot of cool, scary stuff over the years. He's partnering up with Anthony Birch, and they're going to be writing a Joker comic series called The Joker, Year of the Villain.
Ooh.
So basically the world goes bad, more, bad than I guess before, and Joker has to catch up, pretty much, change up his game. So
weird.
That's what the series will be about. So it kind of feels almost similar to the film we're going to be getting in a way.
Yeah.
I wonder, just going back to the film, I wonder what sets him off is maybe his mom passes.
Oh, that could be.
That's like the last straw, or he tries to call Thomas Wayne, like, Dad?
Yeah.
Click.
There's got to be something that finally, I mean, obviously we know that there's a subway scene he gets prodded too much, and that sets him off. But there has to be something before that, to get him to that point.
Once he snaps, though, that's gonna be grotesque. I bet.
Well, is it gonna be rated R?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's gonna have a Scorsese feel to it, which is what they're going for, and I think Scorsese is producing it. So yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see some stuff.
He's gonna like rip the guy's nose off or something.
I don't know.
Something crazy.
He's always been. If it's right for the scene, and so that's where it's going to become really interesting.
Yeah,
and not just for gory's sake.
Right.
Will it be right for the scene?
Yeah, that's definitely that's something to think about if they're going to go over the top or not.
Yeah.
Speaking of over the top, rightfully so, though. This is kind of like
do we have Smith. Stallone news?
No, not that. Oh yeah, over the top too, guys.
Somehow you've mixed arm wrestling with big truckers.
Over the top reboot.
Sucked.
No, I'm talking Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith finally looks like he's back in his prime again with this. We're back into the View Askew universe, which I think is something he should have never dismissed. I think he should have just kept going with it. Of course, he could have just really outdid its welcome if he would have done that. But there's so many characters he created. You know?
And it started to seem less and less about new movie ideas and more about, okay, I've got this new movie. I want to drag everybody that I've ever made a movie with along with me. And so that's when it started to get a little stale. And I think he kind of noticed that before everybody else did and pulled back and said, okay, I'm done.
He's done some weird films lately.
And so finally, well, he was supposed to do Clerks 3. He had the script all written for that. Yeah. I don't know what's happening with that one.
One of the actors didn't want to come back, and I'm pretty sure it's the guy who plays Randall.
What?
I think so. He didn't want to do Clerks 2. But Clerks 2 was great. I love Clerks 2.
Clerks 2, Roger Ebert walked out.
What?
Yeah. He said one of my proudest cinematic moments was when Roger Ebert walked out of my movie.
Well, he didn't always know everything, that's for sure.
No.
Clerks 2 is awesome. I love Clerks 2. And I was I given up hope there was going to be a 3. I know Kevin talked about it, but all of a sudden he was like, it's happening. And then I got my hopes up, and then it's not happening. So everything he said beyond that, I've just like taken it as a, well, it might not happen. Don't get your hopes up.
Well, and if it's Jay and Silent Bob, will Randall be back?
I don't know. I know Dante will be in there, like all of his characters, which this is awesome. I hope this is successful. He's never had $100 million film. Never.
You're kidding.
No. So this could be it. I hope so, because
the trailer looks damn good.
There's so much they could do. Like if this takes off, you can explore that universe again. Those other characters, new characters. There's just so many. It's like his toy box, It's like he tried to do new things, and Red State was good. Tusk was very strange, but an experiment. And Yoga Hosers, that was an experiment as well. So he's, I think he just needs to, it's fine that he experimented, but I think it's like, stick to what works. Of course, he had prior to the heart attack, he was going to do this either way, but I think this probably pushed him to do it more after that, because he didn't want Yoga Hosers to be his last film, he said. But anyway,
I feel bad for his daughter.
Let's talk about this trailer. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I've seen pictures and some behind the scenes stuff, but what'd you think of the trailer?
Amazing. Looks like they've got a lot of big name actors back. Glad to see Ben Affleck back.
Oh, was...
Did you see? I sent it to you, but hopefully everybody just follows him on Facebook. But he posted about the fateful reunion about how Ben Affleck was on a show, and they asked him, have you been talked to about coming back to this movie? He's like, no, I'm free. So a lot of people coaxed Kevin Smith into send him a text, and he sent him kind of a heartfelt apology in his own way, just saying, hey man, I miss you.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to come back? And Ben was like, yep. So they came back. Sounds like their friendship is rekindled.
I hope so. That was so heartbreaking to...
I've heard so many different versions. It was Ben Affleck's wife that pushed him away. It was this or it was that. I mean, who knows what it really was. But the good thing is that it sounds like whatever happened is now in the past.
Doesn't matter if it's rekindled.
They've moved forward.
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like when you see people on the screen. It's like you want them all to get along and like each other, and then to hear that so and so doesn't. is just heartbreaking. And just given what's happened with Smith lately with his heart attack and everything, and Affleck had issues too. But
right. And I think it can humble people.
Yeah, they both took off about the same time, and Smith helped get Good Will Hunting made.
Yeah.
You know, he gave it to Harvey Weinstein. You know, of course, that guy's a piece of shit. But we didn't know that then.
No.
But anyway, So this just makes my heart happy. You know, I don't know. I'm not trying to be corny, but I'm just happy. This is so exciting. And they have pictures and stuff, and Damon's in it, and I'm like, I'm glad that these actors who've become so big are still loyal and will do these films.
I think when you have fun with somebody when you're making a movie, that it's hard to say no if it's a good movie.
Well, and I think it rekindles your youth too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we were young and we had fun and did all this stuff.
Dogma was a great movie. I mean,
Dogma was so edgy, or you know, it's like
that's a topic that was very controversial.
I don't know if they could do that now. I don't know.
No,
but he didn't. There's a funny story. Smith did not want to do that film back then. He
really?
Last minute he wanted Robert Rodriguez to direct it because he was so nervous about just pulling it off, which, you know, he did. I remember seeing that in the theater, and that was pretty much the first time I saw Alan Rickman as a good guy, not a villain. And
oh, really?
That was refreshing for sure, because it's like, I can like this guy, or I can feel like this guy could be nice, you know?
Yeah.
That, you know, usual villain thing, that stereotype you put with people who play villains, you know, they're mean people and stuff.
Well, that movie also blackballed what's her face though in it. Because working with her,
the main chick,
the Linda, film? Whatever her name was.
I heard she was moody.
She was extremely difficult to deal with, and Kevin Smith talked about that at length, and so
sure,
that kind of blackballed her from doing any more movies. Matter of fact, I haven't heard her being in a movie since.
Men in Black, was that before? Or
that was
after
before
that film. Okay, I think she's been in some stuff, but I haven't seen too much of her. But yeah, this reboot looks great. What about that big reveal of Blunt Man for the reboot?
Yes.
Val Kilmer.
I know. That was him?
Yes.
Really?
Takes off the mask. It's Val Kilmer.
Oh.
I don't know how they're going to do his voice. You know?
Either. Can he still speak?
No. He can speak, but it's like if you hold your tongue and talk, that's how he sounds.
Oh.
It's sad. It's really sad because he had throat cancer. So he's dropped a lot of weight, which, you know, he was becoming a really big guy there for a sec. So it's kind of heartbreaking because it's like, you know, but I'm glad Smith put him in a film. That's fantastic. Not to say that Val was begging for work, but Smith probably reached out like, wouldn't it be cool if the guy who played Batman was the new Blunt Man, you know?
Right.
Something like that. And of course, Supergirl herself is playing the new Chronic, the female version of, you know, Jay's alter ego, Melissa Benoist from Supergirl.
What character is she playing?
Chronic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's really cool and refreshing how they did that. And there's a scene where Smith is he's like in this Iron Man suit.
Yeah. That
was pretty neat too. They're crashing Chronic Con. That's what that's where this film is premiering. And I don't know if you watch Impractical Jokers, but Brian Quinn is a longtime Kevin Smith fan and friend. Worked for him years ago, and he was dressed up as Blunt Man at the end, where he comes up to the mic and he's like, "So what do you guys think about this Jay and Silent Bob reboot?" And Biggs and Vanderbeek are up there and like, "I think it fucking sucks." And then there's that cameo by Tommy Chong. That was awesome.
God, that was awesome.
And Smith's daughter in the preview was great too. I love that twist. Like, this is our love child. He's like, I think I'm going to need to see a blood test. He's
and
like,
what's
no,
up?
This is our love child.
What's up with Jay's teeth, man? They look like he got veneers or something like that.
Yeah, I noticed that years ago, actually.
Like, when I picked him up at Wizard World, no, they weren't like that.
Yeah.
So he's just recently gotten
his teeth from everything he was doing, you know? I mean, he's been sober for years, but I don't know what went down. But he kind of has a lisp now when he talks. Like, like from the veneers or something. But yeah, it's a little different, but you know, he's older too. But I did notice that some years ago. But yeah, I mean, it's like they never stopped playing those characters. They picked up right where they left off.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it had been all that long. I mean, it threw me back into the last Jay and Silent Bob.
Of course, Smith has lost tons of weight, which is good for him because he needs to. He's become.
I love how his overcoat still looks big, though.
That was on purpose, though. I think they wanted to still have that bulkiness to it, you know. But yeah, that was cool. I didn't understand the beginning of the trailer for. After a few times, and I understood because he says drop the plants, and all of a sudden Jay pulls his pants down. I'm like, oh yeah, I thought he said drop the pants.
Buffalo Bill it.
Because either way, I was like, that's Jay. He's crazy. I'll go with it. And then
it's a lady. No, he has a dick.
Dave DeSmall's-Chin, he was a crazy guy in Dark Knight, and he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yep.
He's becoming a bigger actor now. He's going to be in the new Suicide Squad. I think he's going to play Polka Dot Man or something like that. But yeah, he's the
he doesn't have a penis.
anxious he's the anxious SWAT team.
He's got a penis.
So yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah.
How about the part where he goes and cue the music? And did you notice he's wearing a Stan Lee shirt?
Yes. Oh. Yep. I've seen all that from the behind the scenes stuff because they've like highlighted those things. Like the idea was Brody's shirt was always blurry. Yeah. And then now it's like since Stan's passing, it's like it's focused and it was Stan Lee the whole time. Yeah. But I think back then it really wasn't. But yeah, there's like in Brody's comic book store, there's like a shrine dedicated to Lee. So
that's cool.
That's really neat. Yeah, that's special. It's just such a cocool time to see all these characters again. I'm really excited. I've longed for this really, and
I do wonder if they're gonna throw like a little tribute to Stan Lee in there besides just the T-shirt.
I don't know. Well, like I said, they have a shrine in there, so there's that. So I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. I'm sure at the end they might.
And when did they film?
Or they might say for Stan Lee.
Yeah.
This year.
Okay, so there would have been no possibility for a cameo.
Maybe it started in 2018. No, yeah, I think it didn't get into production until after Lee passed.
Okay,
sadly,
that whole story that's tough to listen to. That whole Kevin Smith story, because I mean, here you have a guy that's truly a comic geek at heart, and then to find out that the whole universe you've created is basically intertwined now with Marvel forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that to me is just cool.
Yeah, the Captain Marvel cameo, that was cool with him reading Mallrats. And I think we've talked about this before, but Stan was sick the day they shot that cameo. So they asked Smith to go into his archives to pull out outtakes from Mallrats of Lee saying his lines. Mm-hmm. So that's what they used.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really special. I'm sure they'll have some kind of tribute in there. The awesome thing is Smith has become friendly with so many people over the years that you might even see Kevin Conroy in this film for a little part. Who knows? Sure. I mean, they're going to Chronic Con, which is basically like San Diego Comic Con, so you can see a bunch of celebrities there.
I wonder though if who was the guy that was in Cox, or what was it in Jane Silent Bob?
Oh, Mark Hamill?
Yeah, if he's going to be back in it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because what character did he play again?
Cockknocker.
Cockknocker, yeah.
Which who's the new Cockknocker?
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's Hamill still.
That would be awesome.
They brought him back. They're gonna parody what they did with Luke, and then this Cockknocker is gonna be like all disheveled and pissed off. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
Cockknocker.
And Chris Rock, maybe he'll show up. I don't know. He was
Selma Hayek will maybe show up.
Maybe. Yeah. It's possible. Anything's possible. Yeah.
It's a shit demon.
It's just a great resurgence. And, speaking of resurgence further, Top Gun Maverick. That trailer came out.
Oh, my God. Okay, did you get chills when you saw those the three F-14s going through the valley? And then the cone form around the airplane?
Oh, when he flips it upside?
No, when they're going around a corner and you see the three airplanes and you see the vortex cone?
Yeah. No, I did. I got more chills with that, like, kind of like that POV shot, except it's like on his face.
Oh, when he's like
go off the carrier, and you really feel the G's. Like he was so into making this film like a love letter to aviation. He talked to Conan O'Brien at the Comic-Con, and they put a bunch of cameras in. Because of course cameras can be smaller now.
Yeah,
they put it all over the planes and stuff. So like that aircraft carrier takeoff scene is awesome, and then with the jets behind him. Fantastic.
It's one of those things where I don't agree with him outside of his movies, like the whole Scientology thing, but he's a very interesting individual. He says that he never stops learning. I saw this in an interview, and he goes, I'll just go to a class and just learn something.
Yeah.
Because I think I could use it in a movie later on down the road.
Right.
Take, for example, Tropic Thunder. He actually went to a dance school for hip-hop. Didn't use it in any movies, and then when Tropic Thunder came around with Les Grossman, that's when he used it. And he said, I want to have an overinflated butt and big hands. So when he started doing that, Ben Stiller was like, the hell?
Yeah.
And then it started to make sense. So
he's a very creative person. Like he brings a lot to the table.
And he's also,
right most of the time.
Right. And he does his own, his own stunt work. So the thing that I always have a hard time believing is, okay, did he really learn how to fly a plane just for this movie, or is that just somebody flying the plane behind
Fallout?
him?
I think someone's actually, because the jet is so aggressive. I can't imagine like you can just I'll fly it. But in Fallout, he flew that helicopter.
Yeah,
which is nuts.
And for Mission Impossible, he climbed. What is it?
Oh yeah, for every one of those movies,
the tower or something like that.
Like
Ghost
stuff Protocol. Yeah. But Fallout was like huge, like boost in stunt work because he actually was in the helicopter with just a camera, maneuvering over mountains and stuff. Like he trained really hard for that. So he's definitely can adapt. He's, I accept him as an entertainer. His personal stuff do not agree with, of course.
But I love his take on how he gets into the role, though. He learns something.
Yeah, and I think that's something outside of the Scientology crap. I think he's just a unique person, and that he's got a driving force, and I'm sure he thinks it's Scientology. But, he doesn't preach that, so that's fine with me.
At least not in the interviews,
It just doesn't work. It's like, it's just too weird. But, he's definitely a dedicated person.
Yeah.
And he always gives it his all. And he's just in the business to entertain people. That's what he said. He's like, I'm an entertainer.
He's 60 years old now?
I thought he just turned 50. I think he's in mid-50s maybe by now. I don't think he's 60 yet.
Let me check.
That would be shocking. I'm sure he's mid-50s at most. That's my guess.
62. This is when he was born.
1962, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. I apologize for my lack of math skills.
That's okay. He'll still look the same when he's 60.
I'm 57, sorry.
He doesn't look like he's aged much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They have Kelly McGillis. They put like side by sides, and it's like, oh my gosh, she looks so different, Well, and not to body shame, but she's like, you just couldn't cast her now to be his love interest. It just wouldn't work.
And Ed Harris looks so different now.
Yeah.
That was weird to see him. I mean, I could immediately tell his voice.
He's probably 70 or older, but he was delivering great lines, and the writing seems to be pretty top notch. The special effects or practical effects look excellent. Again, that whole
him flying upside down and then going down the hill that way, that was cool.
Yeah, that was and it looks like they're going to be like high altitude flying because he has like a helmet that lights up in it, so it gets like very modern. It's not just the jet flying, but it's like looks like he's being tested for this new program, let's say, and they're considering him as he's an old dog, Well, haven't they phased out the F-14s already? Yeah, like I think most of the film, those aren't F-14s we're seeing because the wings are just like they don't go back. At the very end of the trailer, an F-14 flies by, so there's probably an homage
because now they have the F-22 Raptors.
Yeah, so it looks like just the end of the wings fold up when they're stored. So they don't pull back, and they're not as big. But like I said, they'll have the F-14 probably, or unless they just did that for the fans, just at the end of the trailer show it fly.
Or maybe they use the F-14 as training vehicles.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Interesting. I mean, I don't know if they ever retire the jets, and they're not really used anymore, but I don't know.
I don't know. The A-10 Warhog's still being used.
It still works, though. It still looks very similar, and it's a sequel that I never thought we'd get, and I'm anxious because you'll have Goose's son. He'll be in it.
The question that I have, though, is there's a scene at like a funeral. Does that mean that Iceman passes away?
I don't know, because I think Kilmer will be in it, so it'll be interesting to see how they write that character. If he actually went through the same thing as Kilmer, or I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be very...
Somebody's going to die again. I just hope they don't do, like, reuse a plot.
No. Like Goose's son dies?
Yeah.
Like, no, come on.
Well, will Meg Ryan be back?
That's what I was thinking. Like, she could. She could be back.
I haven't seen it in IMDb. I guess I haven't looked enough.
And that might be something they're kind of keeping close to the chest. But, yeah, that whole shot of him in the jet, I loved it. Like, you really feel like you're in it with them flying around. And this film will be incredible in IMAX. Like, you're going to feel everything in IMAX with this film.
God, Meg Ryan hasn't been in anything since 2005.
Yeah,
it's been 4 years.
Yeah, I'm psyched, man. I think it looks great. I think it's going to bring us back to love and feeling.
Nice.
Now it's gone.
Nice pun.
So, last thing on the table today, Spider-Man Far From Home. Apologies, we have not reviewed this for a while. It's been out 3 weeks or so?
Yeah, but I think, it's enough time to...
Yeah. Well, let's do non-spoilers really quick, just brief. What'd you think?
I thought it was a good movie. To me, this one felt more like a Spider-Man movie than maybe Homecoming did. I thought that was a very good movie. It kind of had that feeling like you were watching the ones with Tobey Maguire, because there was a little bit of a love story mixed in there. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't forced. It wasn't pushed. It wasn't the main theme of the movie, but I do like that now he has a girlfriend. The whole thing with Aunt May knowing that he's Spider-Man, some people have a problem with that. I think for the purposes of what's already been written with Marvel and Tony Stark and all that stuff, I think we kind of already know that was kind of a given. And I'm fine with it. So, overall, I thought it was really good. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job. If we could stop using Tony Stark extras to be either villains or create a suit, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Happy Hogan. I do like Happy Hogan being in Spider-Man. And the one question that I always had going into this was, okay, Tony Stark's dead. Tony Stark was giving Spider-Man his suits. Who's going to create the suits now? And now we know. Now the question is will he be using Tony Stark technology from here on out? I don't know, but we'll see.
It's a new Spider-Man. It's a new take on the character, and I'm okay with Aunt May knowing who he is. I think that was a good twist. It just gives her more to do, maybe. And at the beginning of the film, well, first off, I thought it was good. I don't know if I liked it more than Homecoming, or maybe about the same. I think Homecoming might have been a little better, just because I think the humor, it just felt like it had a good balance of everything. It's a good film, worth your money. Go out and
definitely go see it.
You'll like it. It doesn't always have to be better than the previous film. That's just my own feelings on it. Still not sure exactly how I feel about everything, but like I said, we'll get there. We're going to go into spoilers now, so come back unless you want to listen to it, or if you've seen the film already, then stay with us. 3, 2, 1.
All right. So
they all die. That's what Joey would say.
How about the ending with finding out that their Kree that was on Earth?
Oh, that?
Yeah.
That was okay. Yeah, I think my only problem is I hope Marvel doesn't retcon this, saying Nick Fury wasn't Nick Fury the whole time. Or,
I don't think they will. I don't think
either.
It's possible.
I think it's just since the blurb. That's what they call it, right? The snap is called the blurb in this world.
And I think he probably went up into outer space for purposes unknown yet.
They're going cosmic with the new phase.
Phase 4 is going to be. So I think to keep it that way, they kind of had to basically round out the third phase. And so that was what they did. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say that Nick Fury's always been in outer space.
Yeah, I mean, we still got the actors to come back and play, their characters. Samuel L. Jackson and Maria Hill, who I don't recall who plays her, but she's a good actress. So yeah, we got that. I didn't mind that. I kind of minded the one before that, where first off, I'm glad J.K. Simmons is back. I don't know how well
he's bald now, which is weird.
That was
and they did an InfoWars take on it,
which I'm okay with, I guess, because newspapers are kind of dying, sadly.
Right.
Maybe they'll ground him more. He's more of a conspiracy theorist guy. I don't know, but yeah, I was surprised they didn't give him the wig. That kind of was distracting to me, but
Well, maybe they're trying to say that it's a new version, but the same guy's playing him.
And it's fine. I guess it would be hard to pull that off. I mean, that's an iconic look in the comics, which was nice how the Raimi films embraced that. They even poked fun at his hair, I think. I didn't mind that too much. I guess the InfoWars take is not too bad. I just hated the fact that everybody knows he's Peter Parker now. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like Iron Man. And Iron Man didn't bother me as much because...
Are they trying to say he's kind of the new Iron Man in a way?
Well, I think in the beginning of the film, it was... I think Peter felt he had to be the new Iron Man, but like Happy said in the plane, you know, Tony was Tony. That's Iron Man. You're your own person. You're Spider-Man.
Now, the whole sunglasses part, that was funny.
Edith, the program Edith. Yeah. Yes. Which... a lot of this flowed pretty organically. The whole writing was great. The only thing I didn't like was the exposition in the bar when Peter gives Mysterio the glasses. I liked how Peter left. I knew the twist was coming.
Yeah.
And he lays back. He said, see, that's not so bad. That wasn't so hard or whatever. I recognized the bald guy in the back. Peter Billingsley, he was in the first Iron Man movie. The problem I had with that scene was I think they just went a little too far with the exposition, explaining each person, like, you were in Iron Man 1, pretty much, you know, like, I know that as a fan. I think we don't have to point at people and be like, show that flashback scene with Tony Stark built us in a cave. Like, I know that guy was. And just some of that felt really like they were like, we got to get this out. How are we going to do this? Let's just push it. Like, you did this, you did that, I did that. Da, 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 da. And that to me was like these flashback scenes. I don't know. I mean, it was interesting how they put Gyllenhaal in that sequence where Tony has that program in Civil War, you know, and I guess he codenamed it Barf or something like that. And so they got that scene with Gyllenhaal in the back all pissy.
The only thing I didn't like was the fact that they opened up the multiverse, and as quickly as they opened it up, it was done.
But to me, since it's like the comic world, I could see that as a possibility still.
But
they could explore.
If there is a true multiverse, which it makes sense because they ripped a hole, Thanos got through it. I think they should have left that open. But the problem is that the storyline basically went, okay, he was a Tony Stark extra, he helped him build all this. So now then you close that gap saying there was never a multiverse. But in the comic books there is. We are in 616. So it's not far-fetched to say that other people from different multiverses could come into the mix now. But when they close it like that, now you can't have that option. Now you have to organically build them from something that's happening now. Right. Or outer space, or whatever the case may be. Right. You can't just say, okay, these people are coming in from this, and this is the world that they know, and expand upon that. Maybe it gets too tough to tell the storyline and keep it still at a very granular level. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see that as ending the possibility per se. But from his perspective, yes, he made it up because he's like, you got to up things to make people believe in what's going on, you know. And it's all about theatricality, which was cool. They got the Edith program, so they got those drone things that could help project what they were trying to do. Like, all that was really fascinating. You know, it sucked because they were really friendly with each other, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" And when he put those glasses on, like, wow, he really looked like Tony Stark. Kind of, it was kind of creepy, you know. And somebody had leaked a post that like a potential script line was going to be that Spider-Man was going to reconfigure the program in a couple of bots to make them Tony and Captain America, and they were going to fight off the Elementals. And then at the very end of the movie, they were going to come back to his room, and he would basically have to delete the programs after he realized that he can move on in his own life and that he doesn't need to hold on into the past. I think that would have been a strong storyline. But, you know, who knows? To me, that would have been a perfect ending to a Phase 3 movie.
I like the part where Sam had that quick romance, and Peter's teacher said that, he thought his wife left him, or thought his wife disappeared, and they had a funeral and everything, and then it turned out she just left him for another person.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny. But overall, I thought it was a good film. It flowed nicely, and a lot of action, a lot of costumes.
Right.
Yeah, it was really good. Good take on everything, and good way to move forward, all the possibilities. I loved him building the new spider suit. That was badass. I love all that stuff like Tony did with the workshop and, back in Iron Man 1, with all the holographics and stuff.
Maybe we'll get some more scientific Peter Parker stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure we could, and he even acted like the multiverse could be a thing, just how he was explaining things. But, yeah, Tom Holland's amazing. The whole cast is great. Zendaya, I think that's how you say her name, Zendaya, as MJ, great. She now knows, of course, he's Spider-Man before everyone knew.
Right.
That's my problem, but someone suggested on another podcast that Doctor Strange could possibly put a spell on everybody so they would not know he was Peter Parker. So that's the way they can move forward. So, and I don't think Mysterio's dead. I don't see him knowing he was
I forgot. How did he die?
Well, he got shot, I think. He tried to shoot Peter.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And they call that a Peter Tingle or something now. It's not Spider Sense, it's Peter Tingle.
I think that's just funny. I think they're going to call it a Spidey Sense, but Peter Tingle is pretty damn funny.
Right. And then I loved how Mysterio fought him, the whole messing with his reality. That was cool. Like the whole Fury thing was fake in that one scene. Peter fell out of a building and then he got hit by a damn train.
Right.
It's like, holy shit, this is crazy. It was anxiety driven to see all the zombified Iron Man coming out of the ground and all the Spider-Mans crawling on him. Like all that was so trippy to me. It was really cool. It was like, it kind of felt like Doctor Strange, like, but yeah, Gyllenhaal did a great job. Everyone did a great job. It's a good summer film. Really liked it. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt, Homecoming felt more like a slam dunk to me. I don't know why. I can't pinpoint it. But I don't like the twist at the end, but I'm sure they'll fix it.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a couple years before we see the next Spider-Man. But overall, I enjoyed it. Again, another hit for MCU. So,
another one.
Not to praise them too much, but, they're not perfect. I'll admit that. And Joey definitely will admit that. So, but yeah. I liked it, and I don't know if I'll see it again in the theaters or not, but I'll definitely be buying it.
Yeah, I'll be buying it too.
Sure. So, well, with that said, we'll be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.